That ruddy great thing up in the sky is our moon. It is 3,500 kilometers across. The only reason it exists is 4.5 billion years ago, an enormous asteroid hit our planet. This asteroid was so enormous, it split our planet almost completely in half. This asteroid, named Theia, was the size of Mars. As our planet was split almost completely in half, huge clouds of dust went high in the sky, millions and millions of miles. Most of that dust fell back to Earth, but some of it coalesced and became our moon. 400 million years after our moon was formed, we entered the late heavy bombardment. For at least 300 million years, our planet was slammed with millions of meteorites, causing its surface to become incredibly hot. It took tens of millions of years for the surface of our planet to become cool enough for life to start. Our survival depends on science and education. A huge number of meteorites have struck our planet, and a huge number will continue to do so. The surface of the moon is covered in impact craters. That absolutely enormous crater you see on the moon is the Mare Imbrium, almost 1,200 kilometers across. Just 4 years ago, an enormous interstellar object shot past Earth at 95,000 kilometers an hour. We called it Oumuamua. It came 6 times closer to Earth than the Sun, and we didn't even see it until it had already passed us. If it had been aimed at Earth, it would have struck us and we would have had no idea it was coming. It came from the direction of our Sun. We were unable to see it coming as the Sun is too bright. Only a few decades ago, the enormous Shoemaker-Levy 9 comet struck Jupiter and left a stain in the atmosphere the size of our planet. 21 separate objects struck Jupiter over a period of 6 days. The total force of the impact was 600 times as much as all of the nuclear weapons on Earth. If Shoemaker-Levy 9 had struck Earth with 21 separate impacts over a 6-day period, it would destroy not one city, but many cities. The results would be catastrophic. We cannot see many of these objects coming. We may be struck at any moment, and science alone can save us. If you are in any doubt, remember the dinosaurs, wiped out by an asteroid so enormous that if you dig anywhere on Earth, you will find a thin white line, the iridium layer, the KT boundary. That iridium came from the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs. We know that sometime over the next 50,000 years, there is a 50% chance that our planet will be hit by an asteroid as big as the state of New South Wales. If that were to hit Australia, or even close to Australia, our entire country would be wiped off the map, and much of Southeast Asia would also disappear. Naturally, all life in our country would become extinct. In 500 million years, the Sun will expand so much, it will consume our planet. It will destroy all life on Earth, and then it will destroy the Earth. The question is, what are the jellyfish going to do about it? If not the jellyfish, how about the squids? Or the corvids, the crows, the ravens, they're highly intelligent. Dolphins, orcas, whales. Now maybe the human race can save all life on Earth, but just about every great civilization that has ever existed has gone into decline. Many civilizations have gone through a loss of education, just as Western civilization is experiencing now. They have gone through rising inequality, as we are experiencing now. The fragmentation of society into 2 halves, as we are experiencing now. In 1176 BC, a huge number of civilizations disappeared. The Mayan civilization in the Americas declined and disappeared. The Easter Island civilization disappeared. The Khmer Empire disappeared. The Harappan civilization of the Indus Valley disappeared. The Songhai Empire no longer exists. The Mali Empire no longer exists. The Ghana Empire no longer exists. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of civilizations have declined and disappeared. If we are to save all life on Earth, We must value science and education. But our country fails catastrophically at these two. Our Southeast Asian neighbours have gone from extreme poverty to extreme wealth. They have gone from having virtually no education to having the highest levels of education in the world, to having the most sophisticated economies in the world, to being on the cutting edge of technology. Japan is the most technologically advanced country on earth. And our neighbours spend a huge amount of money on research. That is why the very clever Japanese and the very clever Koreans and the very clever Singaporeans and the very clever Taiwanese and so many others are at the forefront of science and technology. Most pieces of technology that you own are made by those people. Our smartphones are not made in Australia. Very few computers or computer systems or anything technical is made in Australia. In fact, we have the economic complexity of a third world country. Both sides of politics have failed us for 50 years. We are not an advanced country. We are a very backward country. If we do not dramatically improve our science and education, we will be the black hole of Southeast Asia. We will be a stupid country surrounded by very intelligent countries. Our Southeast Asian neighbours blaze brighter and brighter and brighter because they value science and education. Meanwhile, our education levels have been dropping and dropping and dropping for decades. We are failing catastrophically. And that is why I am running for the Senate, to save our country, to turn our country back to science and education and drag us out of the deep pit we are in, drag us up into the light, just as our neighbours have done. It can be done. Our neighbours came from far behind us, and now they are far ahead of us. And if we are too blind to realise this, or if we simply do not care, then our future will be terrible. Our Southeast Asian neighbours are the most intelligent people in the world. This is the Asian century. Southeast Asia will shape the next century. We are right in the middle of it. If we do not value science and education, then we will become a black pit. We must learn from our Southeast Asian neighbours. Value science, value education, and then we will blaze as brightly as they do. My name's William Flynn. I'm running for the Senate. Be sure to vote at the next election. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Cheerio.